Hi, I'm Dr. Dan Ratner. Today I am joined on audio by Pat, who recently attended my seminars, and she's going to fill us in on her experience with that. So I cannot wait to hear from her on that. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below, and I'll get back to you personally. And finally, you can reserve your place in one of these seminars or purchase any of my mind-body guides, also known as PDFs, at www.crushingdoubt.org. Pat, thank you so much for joining us and being willing to talk about your experience, not only in the seminar, but in interacting with me in general. What I want to do is hear from you about your symptoms, kind of from the time that you found me, or you can go back further than that if you want. What are the symptoms you've been struggling with?
My basic symptom is fibromyalgia. But when I found you, I had the most excruciating sciatica. And that is the one that I have worked on through the seminars and had amazing success with.
That's great to hear. Tell me, I don't even know if you can put this into words, but if you can you tell me, what was it? What are some of the things about the seminar, the seminars and the experience there that got you some of what you needed?
I think the clarity of it and your explanations of the 3 columns. The thing that jumped out at me most of all was moment-to-moment thinking. That was one of the things that I got out of it. But I got so much, I don't really know where to start. It was like 8 days of intense listening to you. And I have gone back and I've listened to each recording, and each time I listen to that, I get more and more from it. And things, I mean, I've followed so many different people over the last 3 years, but you just seem to put it all into a logical format, which actually suits me, being a very logical person. What else can I say? I don't really know where to start. One of the main things also was knowing that I'd come to a seminar and I could listen to everything you said, and that at the last day, that wasn't the end of it, that you would always be there. You would always be there to listen to or answer an email or answer questions in your Q&A. That was really important to me, because I've done seminars where you go, finished, that's it. And you go away thinking this is great, and then you forget it. But this, you've left me with so much work to do, so much more to look at. The core narrative, absolutely brilliant. I mean, that.
Tell me what your experience was with that.
It made me understand myself. I don't think I'd ever really, although I journaled, I don't think I'd ever looked at myself in that way.
Wow.
And so what to do about it, it actually made me feel powerful.
So tell me if I have this right, Pat. From what you're saying, and this rings true for what the interactions we've had, through these interactions around the seminar and around the core narrative especially, you now make sense to yourself.
Absolutely.
And your symptoms make sense to you as well, for the most part. I know you're going to have your moments, but to be able to make sense to the self is a pretty big deal.
It's amazing how I never, in all the years of therapy, why didn't this happen?
Actually, I have a related question. I want to know, why did it happen? And I don't know if you know the answer.
But I don't know. That you've obviously hit the nail on the head for me. Absolutely.
Well, some of it must come, though, from being able to trust the source and trust the information. So I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but you tell me if I have this right. I'm guessing that the fact that I made sense in so many different ways for so long, because the seminars are, it's intense. It's eight sessions. They're each more than an hour because there is time for Q&A. And in all that time, if I keep making sense, I become a pretty trusted source. And then, listen, I do think one of the strengths of what I do is the organization of it. So the core narrative is more organizing of emotional life than anything that I've found. And I got it from my own experience. I had years of therapy too, where I couldn't figure me out. And it was my symptoms that helped me figure me out. And then I was like, okay, here is me, that core narrative. And I realized if I just bring that same thing to people first, they can get there faster. And so it seems like the structure of it, as well as the trust in me, were the two things that really got it done.
They were the two things for me. The structure of it, as I said, I'm very logical. And to actually be able to write it down in order and say, this is this is that. And also, from the first time I heard you on Eddie Lindenstein, you just resonated with me. There was just something that clicked with me. And I thought this is really going to be good. And it has been brilliant.
Well, thank you. So, Pat, you've had experience with other mind-body work. I'm a lot. The people in the mind-body field are great. There's so many people who are helping in so many ways. But something about this brought it together for you. It
did. Yeah. I think I've done everything basically. Until I found you. I've journaled. I've listened to podcasts. Everything I could think of. I've read Dr. Sarno. Other books I've read, but nothing resonated with what you were doing. To me, this was me. It's suddenly, wow, this is actually, you've actually found me, or I found me. That I think the main thing, and I think we've said this, that nobody heard or listened to me. And that I'd never thought about that before.
Yeah. Was there a way in which something in the seminars or something in my way of doing it something did make you feel heard? Do you know what that was? It's okay if you can't put it into words.
No, I can't. Can you say the question again? Was it something?
I'm just wondering there's something. You were saying I had never felt heard before.
You said I think you said you'd never felt heard. As a child, you had similar experiences to me. Your father died, my mother died. I think that sort of made me sort of almost a bond that you would know how I felt. And I think you said that you'd never been, am I right in saying you'd never been heard?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And to be seen and not heard was one.
That's right. Well, listen, I think it's a way that I operate. That part of the change agent here is the fact that I am one of you. I have not only have I experienced it, but I engage with you in a way that tells you who I am. I bring myself to it. During those seminars, they were great for all of us, myself included. I was part of that group. I am part of that group. And I think there's that unity and that sense that we all can make sense of ourselves that we bring to each other. But I think my opening up the real me is something that is missing in some therapies.
Yeah, I felt that. I also felt the questions and the stories that people told. Oh, incredible.
There was some incredible stories being told there.
To share that and to trust that you could actually share that and know that you'd be heard again, that you would be heard.
What it makes me think, Pat, I'm curious what you'll think about this. I think what we are building as a community is a level of safety that you really just don't find most places, if not at all. I've never felt safer than I do in this community. This community that I've built. When I talk to you, I don't feel worried at all that I would say something and not be heard. Even if you didn't know what I was saying or whatever, the intention would be to hear me.
Mm. Mm.
And so I appreciate you about that, and I appreciated all of the people in the group about it. There's something about that really bonded us together. But I wanted to ask a question about, this idea of too much information and too little information all at once. Do you feel that it's resolved in you now, the too much information idea? Do you feel that you need to go searching for other information after this?
No, none at all, nothing.
That's incredible.
I have it all there in front of me, and I just know without any doubt that, crushing doubt, that, sorry, that this will, amazing. It worked for me this morning. It seems to work every day. What more can I say? I don't need anything else. It's all there in what you supplied.
Well, I'm honored that you say it, and I'm so glad that I know you mean it. I just wanted to highlight it because I think it's part of the dilemma that we all have as pain sufferers is, I have too much information. Who should I be listening to? And I'm not saying just listen to me because I'm some guru or God or any nonsense like that. But what I have done is I've taken the best of all the systems that I could find and kept organizing down. And I would throw out information when I'd be like, this makes half sense. Half sense doesn't work. It does not work. And so I tried to build a system that makes full sense. And I will keep smoothing it out some, but I'm well over 90% of the way there, I think, in terms of it making full sense. And I just am so, what's the right word? My hopefulness for you is through the roof because I can hear the clarity about your symptoms and about yourself. That clarity is not something that you had before, and it's now something you'll have for the rest of your life.
No, I didn't have clarity before. I was sort of listening to one, listening to another, picking a bit here, picking a bit there, and thinking, I am lost. I don't know where to go. And this has absolutely nailed it for me.
Well, go ahead.
I'm actually, this morning, I thought, moment to moment, thinking, you're fine, everything's okay. Boom, everything was okay. Pain gone.
Yeah, and listen, I know we talked about it towards the end of the seminar. Like, could you get rid of the fibromyalgia as well?
That's I'd worked on that this morning. I did.
Well, listen, it's a work in progress. You're going to keep working at this, and that's what we talked about yesterday in that last seminar session is you can keep extending your power and extending your belief system and continue to crush doubt, and it's okay if it takes you some time.
I'm not worried about that. I know it's going to happen now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 100% I know, whereas before it was the 99.5.
Right. And we know that small percentage.
I know.
Can be just devastating. So, Pat, one last thing to ask you. I said in that last session that doubt will always try to creep back in. I want to make sure that you hold on to that idea because it's going to come in all kinds of different ways. It's very important that I say that. The show is called Crushing Doubt for a reason because doubt will always try to creep back in. Do you feel, though, pretty well armed against it? Do you feel like you're ready to compete with it?
100%. Absolutely 100%.
Is there anything you would say to someone who, is considering these seminars or this way of thinking? What why would you recommend it? Let's start there.
Oh gosh.
Maybe that's too big of a question.
I think I answered a lot of that
You did, but is there any one thing that if you had to just say one thing to somebody, why to do it?
why to do it, knowing that you will always be there to answer questions, even after the seminar. I think that was quite important. And also that you could ask questions on the seminar.
Right. It's not just me. See, the thing is, I give a lot of information, but I know you can only take so much information at once. This is why we didn't have like an 8-hour seminar. I could have given the information in that time, but it doesn't work as well.
No, it doesn't.
It's overwhelming. So I've thought about the system of what's going to work for you guys, and included in that is what you said. I don't go away. My availability may be shrinking in certain ways, but I have ways to be available. I've got that Facebook group. I've got the Q&A. I have paid groups that you can come to. I have individual sessions, even if there's a wait list. You can even take a seminar again if you need a tune-up. Whatever you need. It doesn't matter to me what is needed. It matters that you get what you need. And I think that's part of what you heard.
One more thing that was important to me was that I could go away and the next day listen again. And when I listened again, I picked up more and more gems.
Mm-hmm.
And I shall go away again and listen.
Yeah, so the videos are available for 3 weeks after you take the seminar, so you can keep going and going on. And look, if you run into trouble and you're like, I need to see that again, we'll send it to you.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So none of the help goes away. It's all about your relationship with you. But Pat, I've seen your evolution. Even before the seminars, I saw some evolution from talking with you, from the PDFs, from getting some questions answered. But the difference from the start of the seminar to now in your belief system in you is really different, and it's great to hear.
Thank you.
So Pat, we will keep in touch. You let me know if you need anything from me, and thank you for volunteering to talk about this, share the wisdom that you've gained from this, and the experience of it makes a big difference, and it'll help a lot of people. So thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I'm so overwhelmed with the gratitude for these people who put their trust in me to come to the seminars and to learn about the information. But it's incredibly gratifying to hear how useful it was in a different way than my other materials. Pat hit on how much information she got out of everything and some real life-changing experiences. To know that I got her core narrative down with her so that she felt she understood herself in a way she never had before tells me another piece of these seminars that can be very useful, incredibly useful, life-changing. And in addition, the systems, the organization of it, that was the other thing that she really highlighted that changed her way of relating to the pain. It was incredibly gratifying to hear and important that she got to this point, that she doesn't need to look for anything anymore. She feels like she's got it all right there. That tells me I did the job that I wanted to do. And I'm very grateful to Pat for coming on and sharing her story. It's an inspiring story, and I hope that it will open the door to many people realizing they can get the help they need. It doesn't have to be all over the place where you grab one thing from one place. You can get it all right here because that's what the system is designed to do. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below, and I'll get back to you personally.